Russia's Federal Security Service has accused Ukraine of carrying out a car bombing that killed Daria Dugina, the daughter of a well-known Russian nationalist and close Putin ally. Kyiv has denied any responsibility in the blast, which happened near Moscow on Saturday. The allegation comes amid speculation within Ukraine that a group inside Russia could have been responsible.
This video, shared by Russian security services, claims a female Ukrainian special services contractor was behind a car bomb attack that killed journalist Daria Dugina on the outskirts of Moscow on Saturday. They say the alleged Ukrainian woman moved to Russia last month and had followed Ms. Dugina in a Mini Cooper. She then escaped to Estonia after the blast. But Ukrainian officials are denying the accusations as propaganda.
Ukraine surely doesn't have anything to do with yesterday's explosion because we are not a criminal state, we're not a terrorist state.
But Ms. Dugina's killing has also sparked wider speculation. The National Republican Army, an unknown group, is also claiming responsibility for the attack. In a statement read by a former Russian lawmaker and now host of a Ukrainian online news show, the group threatened more attacks on people with connections to the Kremlin. Daria Dugina died at the scene after an explosive device installed in her Toyota Land Cruiser went off and the car caught fire. Analysts believe her father, Alexander Dugin, may have been the target. Alexander Dugin was meant to travel in the car, but reportedly later changed his mind. Both Dugin and his daughter were on their way to Moscow after they attended a cultural festival. Alexander Dugin is a staunch ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin and a far-right philosopher and author. His daughter was also a prominent member of the ultra-nationalist movement supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
She called for genocide of Ukrainians. She called Ukrainians a subhuman race. She called for public killings of Ukrainian prisoners of war, etc. So yes, she's Dugin's daughter, but she is, first of all, a very active member of Russian far-right nationalist neo-Nazi influential scene.
Meanwhile, President Putin has paid tribute to Ms. Dugina, calling her death a vile and cruel crime.
For more on this now, we're joined by DW correspondent Roman Koncharenko in Kyiv. Roman, how credible are these allegations by the Russian intelligence service that a Ukrainian woman was behind the car bomb?
Well, one should be very careful with any information coming from Russia, especially from Russian secret services. And if we are talking about the speed of the investigation, this is something which is very astonishing. We haven't seen in the recent years maybe crimes in Russia being investigated just within hours and evidence presented on Russian television. So it is still very undecided. The whole case seems very strange from here in Kyiv. Russia is accusing Ukraine, a country which is at war with, and Russia is presenting possible evidence. Ukraine is denying. Dugin himself, the father of the victim, is calling for revenge, calling for victory over Ukraine. The next strange thing is how quick President Putin reacted. He sent his condolences and awarded a medal to the victim, saying she was a Russian patriot. And the Russian propaganda is also running high to call for strikes against Kyiv. And this is something which also looks strange for observers here. It would be very unwise of Ukrainian government, if Ukraine is behind this, to do such an attack on the eve of the Ukrainian Independence Day, which is on August 24th. So Ukraine would know that Russia could retaliate for that and bring many people in danger. And it is very unwise to kill such a person just a few days before.
Well, you mentioned it about the possibility of retaliation. How concerned is the government in Kyiv that Russia may indeed use its version of events surrounding Dugina's death to strike at Ukraine?
Well, those concerns are growing by the hour. Just a few days ago, Ukrainian President Zelensky warned that Russia might be up to something bigger than before. We have reports that the government officials are urged to stay home, not to work in the government quarter. The public transport will run only until 21 hours. There will be no celebration like Ukrainian used to see in the past 31 years on this day, which is very special. So there are grave concerns, and there are also reports in the media that Western media that Russia might strike the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, something we haven't seen for many, many weeks. And the government quarter was not under attack since the Russian invasion began. So it's a very tense, extremely tense situation here in Kyiv. You can really feel it in the air.
Roman, thank you very much. Our correspondent Roman Goncharenko there in Kyiv.